Hello, my lichens. Welcome to ants-mourning, a newsletter that is also a podcast, and this one is titled Thirsty-smudged, and there's a dash in the middle of those words, and it doesn't sound as cool, but it's nice when you read it. Okay, I'm once more trying something a bit different for this newsletter podcast, and I hope you don't mind hearing from me a bit more often, although a bit shorter, in a bit shorter form. I don't know how to say that, but you will see. First section, irregular reading, things I enjoy. So, this March was a great reading month for me, and not just because I chose great books, although that I did too. What can I do? I have good taste. But it was a great reading month, mainly because I read like if there was no tomorrow. Do you also have these no reading months followed by reading everything laying around months? Because I do. I already shared this on the previous issue, but I'm doing it again just in case. You can check out my Storygraph profile if you go to storygraph.com/Miriam. Oh, again, how do you say the dash? The dash that is like lower? That's me Googling it. Why do I always forget how to say this? Raya baja is raya baja in Spanish. Underscore? I think it's underscore. Okay, sorry about that. So, I was saying my Storygraph profile, storygraph.com/Miriam_Navarro Prieto. There you can see what I'm reading, what I'm planning to read, and if you like the platform, you can also create an account and just keep track of your readings and mark them if you like doing that. Yeah. So, since we just had the 22nd diálogos del señor Boliche, which are those comic book centered days in Valladolid, and Raúl gets the books by the authors he introduces in the talks, I also read the books. Hey, I don't only read poetry. See? Huh? So, here's a list of the books I read in March. Oh, by the way, these are all in Spanish, but who knows if someday they will be translated? Who knows? I'll translate the title so you can have an idea of what it is. Okay, first, Amor y Pan, Love and Breath, basically, a poem collection by Paula Melchor, who fixed my craving of potato skins, lemon sponge cake, and ex-boyfriends. I told you about her on my previous issue, which was Breath, Love, Glitter, yes. Then I read Desde las Gradas, which is basically From the Grandstands, by Juanpe Sánchez López, another poem collection, and Juanpe was Paula's editing godmother for her book, and he also talks a lot about his ex-boyfriends. I love that they have that in common. Then I read El futuro es brillante, which would be The Future is Bright, which is a comic book by Elisa Riera, and many men should read this to understand manipulation and gaslighting are not the only way or the standard they should follow in their relationships with women, and I don't care if they are not aware they are doing that or they don't know what that is. No. Learn a bit, bros. Whatever. Sit down and read a fucking book. Okay. Then una lawai en Shanghai, which would be in English something like a lawai in Shanghai. And lawai means a foreigner, yes. This is kind of a sequel to the previous one, also by Elisa Riera, and it's a comic book that taught me details I ignored about Chinese culture, like how much they generally love moisturizing masks and how uncomfortable they can get talking about sex or military operations. Then, Riera's last comic book, La estirpe fracasada, in English something like The Failed Lineage or The Failed Bloodline, something like that. And this one is basically full of people who I love to hate. I mean it, they are terrible. You cannot almost have mercy or empathy toward any of the characters, but that has its special kind of charm, I don't know. And lately I also read Adán o Nada, in English Adam or Nothing, and this needs an explanation. Adam or Nothing, those two words in Spanish are basically the same word if you put them backwards. Adán, nada, nada, Adán. I don't know, it's super clever, super cool. This one is Angelo Nestor's first poem collection. I talked about Angelo on my previous issue too, and yeah, she's one of Le Traversal's editors, the publishers who made me a finalist on their contest. I don't know if you remember this, but well, I respect the hell out of Angelo. Yeah, she wrote this book on 2015, and I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it was written this year, because the questioning of masculinity and how she applies theatrics, like drama techniques in here. I don't know, it's amazing. Like very much like a book written yesterday. Okay, so it may look like a lot, this list, or a little if you read more like than me, but keep in mind that some months I do not read like at all, or maybe I only read some fanfictions before I fall asleep. Next section, charcoal and smudged. This is what I've been working on. I'm still pretty happy about how I'm doing on Queer Life Drawing. If you don't remember what that is, you can go to my previous issue titled Crocodiles and Drawings. But yeah, basically it's a digital space. That sounds to me like Digimon. But yes, it's basically a digital space for live drawing via Zoom. There only queer models pose, and yeah, I've been attending for a few months and I fucking love it. And yeah, I'm feeling like I've recovered most of my ease while drawing, especially charcoal drawing. If you don't know, I drew for all my life basically, but I've been not doing it for few years, and I just got back to it recently. So yeah, it feels good. I also can't believe I'm almost finishing my current notebook or sketchbook. Yeah, it's sketchbook, because I bought it like 3 months ago, and wow. Also, I highly recommend it if you like drawing with pencils, charcoal, that kind of thing. It's Canson's recycled paper sketchbook. It's pretty cool, like slightly gray and textured, but not super textured. So, like a sweet spot. I really like it. Oh, talking about my drawings, if you follow me on Instagram, maybe you know that I've been struggling with the platform for a while now, because they constantly send me this message of, we cannot recommend your account to people who don't follow you because there are pictures displaying nudity on your profile. And I'm like, obviously, babe, they're drawings of naked people. So I started covering the nipples and genitals before posting my drawings, but I think I'm being shadow banned anyway, which is tragic, I think. Well, here on the newsletter and on my Patreon, you'll be able to see my uncensored model drawings if none of these platforms change their content policies, which I hope they don't. Okay, now if you want to check out these drawings I'm going to talk about, you would have to check out the written version of the newsletter, because they are cool drawings, you know. Okay, the first one is a charcoal drawing I did of a model called Lou. I don't have their info now, but I hope I have it for the next issue. So this model is light-skinned and has short, dark blonde hair, I would say. Lou in this pose is laying down on their bed, and we see their left profile with their left knee flexed and arms lifted toward their head. And there's a window behind that allows intense sunlight in, though the light is reflected and softened by the room's round walls. And I fucking loved this room. I said it on the chat while we were on the session, and the model said, well, thank you, I just live in one of those old houses that have a turret, and I put my room on the turret, so the walls are round. And I was like, what? I mean, it's great. I've never seen anything like that. So then there is another drawing, and we could say it's a failed drawing because I started with charcoal. I hated it. I smudged it completely, but I actually really enjoy the final result. This one is based on model and poet Prieto. They are also on Patreon, by the way. Check them out. So dark-skinned with dark, long, braided hair. I think their hair was like down to their waist. So pretty amazing. So in this pose, they were sitting with their chest slightly turned toward us and their right forearm lifted toward their face. I used the charcoal smudged as a grey background, and I drew Pris again over it with 4 and 6B pencils, which are basically soft pencils but not super soft. And I like how I marked the lit up areas, dabbing the eraser over the background's gray. I didn't manage to get their face at all, and they are beautiful, so it's kind of sad, but I kind of like the white smudge I did on the head. I don't know, it's kind of cool. And last section, let's go. Thirsty and green. More things I'm working on. So I'm also pretty happy with what I've been writing recently on Neil Hilborn's Writing Circle. If you don't know what that is, you can go to neilhilborn.com/writing circle. This poem I'm going to kind of share, partly share. It's slightly more painful than I usually write, and I prefer not sharing the whole thing just yet, maybe, not publicly. But here's a fragment I say was very inspired. I reign since you came over thirsty soil and greenery, disease of long weather, 100 years of undertow days and bloated seconds. And after this cheery poem fragment, I leave you. That's all for now. Thank you to my newsletter podcast subscribers, and thank you to my Patreons, Jorge, Rufi, Lari, Lucia, Chelsea, Katia, Katufo, Ariadna, and Manuel. You are the very, very bestest. Remember everyone else to join me on Patreon, patreon.com/Miriam Navarro Prieto. If you're able and you would like to see every nipple Instagram would rather not show you, plus poems and audios and videos and all the things I do. And all that for €1 or $1.50 a month. So pretty please join me on Patreon. So, haven't you subscribed to this newsletter yet? You can do so by typing your email address on the tiny square on tinyletter.com/Miriam-Navarro-Prieto. You can also check out my archive to read my previous issues on that same page, clicking on View Letter Archive, I think that is. And finally, do you like what I have to say and you think someone you like might like it? Entice them with the sexy poem about bitter chocolate I shared on a previous issue titled P.S. Die. And you know, maybe they also like what I have to say, so tell them to subscribe too, maybe, yes. Ok, hasta pronto.